Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with the Pricing Lady. I'm Janine Liston, your hostess. This show is all about helping you build a more profitable business through better pricing practices. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to today's guest, Dr. Carrie O'Graham. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Janine. How are you?
I'm great. I'm super excited to have you here on the show with me today. Why don't we kick off with a few of the quick fire questions. Sorry,
Okay.
just trying to find my notes. We kick off with a few of the quick fire questions so that we can get to know you better.
Absolutely.
First of all, Carrie, where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling in from Charlotte, North Carolina, in the East Coast of the States.
Oh, excellent. It's
Yes.
not somewhere I've been yet, but someday I will get over there.
Yes, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So, Carrie, what would you describe as your superpower?
My superpower is that I have an amazing listening ear, and I'm really proud of it because it has really helped a number of people in my personal life, as well as I pull it in my business, and it helps my clients as well. So
yeah, I would
my
guess it helps
listening
you.
ability.
It helps you as too, right? I mean,
Oh,
you to listen as well.
absolutely. I say that I listen to what's said, but I also listen for what's not said. And that's so telling in my business for sure.
Fantastic. Superpower listening. Excellent. Next question. What's one interesting thing that most people don't know about you?
Probably that I am incredibly shy and that I actually don't enjoy public speaking, even though I've presented at national and international conferences. I no.
So you don't enjoy it?
I don't enjoy it. I've learned how to go through it and to do it well and to engage my audience, but I'd rather, be in the background listening.
That's interesting. So maybe we'll have to interview you again and talk about how to do public speaking for introverts.
Yeah. It's been a long journey, decades.
Are you by chance a Toastmaster?
I'm not, and I've been thinking
Okay.
about it I'm almost 50, and so thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Excellent. All right. One thing I like to ask people, because it's very much related to pricing in their business, I'd like to first, if you can tell us a little bit about what you do, but then ultimately, how do you bring value to your clients?
Yeah. So what I do is I use my decades of experience in curriculum development as a professor and my PhD research in adult learning. And so I bring that to the business owner and organizations to help them truly build a learning experience for an adult learner. And so what they do is they walk away empowered. They walk away understanding the background and foundational information. They understand how to strategically build a learning experience for adults. And then they are empowered in their ability to facilitate, which is so powerful, so powerful.
And ultimately, what does having those things bring them?
So it brings them a sense of clarity as it relates to what they're doing with their service, as coaches and as learning and development professionals. But on the end user side, so for their clients are actually learning the information, they're retaining the information and the skills, and then they actually apply it. And that my experience is that's where things get lost, is people aren't really retaining the information or the skills that they're learning. And so because they don't retain, they don't have the opportunity to apply it. And so they don't see the results. But when you know the right steps to take for adult learners, your client ultimately sees the results that you've promised and that they aspire to have.
Wow, amazing. I love all things education related. Either it was a past life or it's coming in a future life. I'm not sure which.
Right,
Okay, that's fantastic. So why don't we take a step backwards and you can share with us how you started your career and how you ended up with your own business.
Yeah. So, this is also something that people don't know about me is
Mhm.
that I started my career in healthcare. So in Division 1 athletics, so
Mm,
high level college athletics as a healthcare provider. And in that, I was constantly under high pressure and high stress, developing these learning experiences for
mhm,
injured athletes. And then it
mm,
transitioned to being an educator in healthcare,
mhm,
and so I got the foundations of curriculum development and assessment. And then, on to working on my PhD. And thankfully to COVID, my heart goes out to lives lost, but,
mhm,
thankfully to COVID with the shutdown, it gave me an opportunity
mm,
to really assess where I was professionally and personally.
mhm.
And I had the opportunity to go into business for myself. And it's been absolutely amazing.
That's
Amazing.
wonderful. That's wonderful. And so how long have you been in your own business then?
So it has been about 2 years
2 years.
now.
Okay.
Yep, about 2 years, but I got out of undergrad in 95, so well
Mhm.
over 25 years of working and,
Yeah,
preparing my journey. When I think
right.
back, it's easy to say there's a disconnect between
Mhm,
healthcare and what I do now, but the
mhm,
reality is it really prepped me
mhm.
for how to ask appropriate questions to really get at deep information. So it's been an
Right.
amazing journey.
Right. I mean, I have a similar path in the context that I started as a structural engineer designing buildings,
Yeah, that's crazy.
right? And you're like, but you're right. It gives you skill set,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you've done a skill set. And there's always, skills in what you've done and what you've learned and how you've done things that have led you to where you get. So even if you aren't doing the same thing you studied in university or you set out to do originally, it doesn't mean that, the first part of your life or your career was a total wash, right?
Right.
I think
Right.
that's very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I find that when I'm working with my own clients, I go back to
Mm,
that. Like those skills they always rise to the top when I'm
right.
starting with a new client. And then as we are progressing,
Mhm.
then it moves along with my journey. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
I remember you commented about the bridge.
Yeah. Yes.
The
Yes.
bridge in one of my podcast episodes. And that's, yeah, exactly. I found a way to bring it into what we're doing.
Right. Right. And that, Janine, I think that's so important when people are taking on entrepreneurship and business
Mhm,
ownership, that to your point, that you don't disregard your past
mhm,
experience, but reflect on it and find a way to take those skills and to take
mhm.
that knowledge and to use it in the present circumstance.
Right, right, right. Very good. So when you first started when you were having to price your offers,
Yes.
where in the world did you start with that?
Ah, such a journey. I'm gonna say probably like most people, I
Mhm,
started pricing based on the hour.
mhm,
And, I because what I do comes easy to me, I was basing my pricing on, well, this is easy.
mhm,
And not really recognizing the value that I was offering someone else who doesn't have the 25 plus years of experience and knowledge. And so yeah, I was definitely pricing my services by the hour.
right, right. And how did you decide what was a reasonable hourly rate?
I try in my life to be incredibly honest with people,
Mhm.
and so I'm gonna be honest with you, Janine. It was like a crapshoot. It really, I wasn't comparing my pricing to anyone else, but I
Mhm.
was just like, well, what sounds appropriate in
Okay.
terms, and how I was defining appropriate is completely I had no definition of it. And
Okay.
so I was able to make a profit, but
Mm-hmm.
it just was not consistent with the true value that I offer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, and that, I think what probably you want to call it pricing by intuition,
Mhm.
to some extent. So you were just going with your intuition. Others, I have another term for it. It's like, I call it pin the tail on the donkey pricing. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
guilty. I'm guilty. I'm reformed though. I am reformed. I'm reformed.
Excellent. So, why don't you tell us about how you went from this intuitive or pin the tail on the donkey pricing to where you are now?
Yeah.
What first was the indication that there was an issue, or was there even an issue? Maybe there wasn't.
Yeah, there was.
Mhm.
And so while I was generating revenue, I it wasn't matching my investment, right? So my investment of time, my investment of energy, um, and so after some time,
Mhm.
I'd say a couple of months actually with that level of pricing, is when I started to see some messaging around value pricing versus hourly pricing. And quite
Mhm.
honestly, I started to really struggle with that concept
Mhm.
as someone who has a PhD and published work. How do I know I have value and I know what I know, but how do I put a price tag on that?
Mhm.
And so for me, it was relatively challenging
Mhm.
to figure that out. But the more I had clients tell me
Mhm.
just how incredibly powerful the work is that we've done, and that I
Mhm.
had more conversations with others,
Mhm.
and is really what was the turning point for me is okay, the fact that I have 2 decades worth of
Mhm.
experience, and I have a very specific um, credential
Mhm.
that I've published off of and that I use.
Mhm.
That is a very that is a high ticket item in terms of offering a service, to be
Mhm.
able to share that with someone in a way that they can actually use it. And so
Right.
it's taken quite some time. I would say
Mhm.
my full pricing journey has been about a year.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really been about a year, and I
Mhm.
really believe that it's still evolving.
I was going to say, I'm sorry to tell you, it's a well, here's the thing. What happens as we get more comfortable, we gain more experience, we do new things in our business, we get in a comfort zone, and then the next thing we want is, just outside our reach, and so we expand to go there. And what a lot of people do is their prices don't expand until way after they've stepped out into the comfort zone, right? So
Yeah.
they kind of, pricing wise, they hang out in the comfort zone where they've already moved the business and themselves out, and then they have to catch up later on. So I think it's a constant evolution. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I did get that from you, is that you had talked about one of the first introductions that I had to your
Mhm.
world is your conversation around discounting.
Mhm.
And I was like, this and I wasn't discounting, but it was something I was constantly thinking about.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, like the value, what is the message when you didn't discount ultimately?
Mhm.
And then that really helped me with realizing this is an evolving process.
Mhm.
And so what I'm working to do now is to stay ahead
Mhm.
of, like you were saying, instead of staying in the place of
Mhm.
comfort reactively upping the price, but rather as I present a new service,
Mhm.
that the pricing matches that new service.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So I recently had Amanda Berlin
Mhm.
on my show. I don't know if you know Amanda. She's
I
from the States as well. Her episode will go live on the first week of January.
Okay.
But she was saying that she kept adding value and restructuring her offer, but not updating the price. And then
Yeah.
at one point, she ran into this problem where she realized, okay, uh, I have a small program that has a price up here and a big program that has a price down here. Because she had been adding so many things into this one, it ended up with this huge price disparity that was completely illogical.
Right.
I think that's something else a lot of people run into, because we're always kind of, building and boosting and adding things or shifting things in the programs or in the offers that we make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was just talking with one of my coaches yesterday about a service that I'm going to offer next year. And she said, you need to start thinking about pricing. And I was like, oh, I know. What do I do? So I just said, okay, that's not a conversation for this week. I'm going to use the holiday spirit to think about my pricing around that.
And what does it feel for you? What do you find any challenges, or is it easy for you to have those pricing discussions with prospect clients?
So going back to my introvert personality, I struggled with sales. So that was another aspect of it. And this person that I was referring to is actually, I hired someone as a sales coach. And one of the things that she shared with me is your price is what it is. It just is what it is. And so if you're able, for me, there was some work that I needed to do at the beginning, in a conversation with a prospective client. And that way I can really tailor. And my work is really around tailoring services. And so to tailor the service, the price just is what it is. And it may mean that one person's price is different from another person's price.
Right.
And that was something that early on I struggled with. Because I'm a rule follower, and I believe in, like, everything should be fair to everyone, and it is fair. The pricing is fair, but what I'm providing each person in terms of depth of service is different.
It's different.
So it's a journey. It has been such a journey.
I like that you bring that up, because from my side, what I see, people use it should be fair as a defense mechanism oftentimes when they're talking to me, or as justification. Actually, it's really justification for the prices that they have. But our definition of what fair is so often so warped. That it's not fair. So sometimes it's not fair to, like, yourself or to the, the entrepreneur, but then also, different types of businesses will get different value out of the same service. You'll go, deep into detail with some and just scratch the surface with others, which are different levels of value that they can get. So it is quite variable.
And I was going to say, it's, that level of fairness also is directed to yourself, because have you priced yourself low to match a basic service for one client, but yet you're spending hours and hours on another client. And so there is this mismatch. And, I'm trying to walk into the next chapter of my life with ease and peace and calm. And so just learning and dispelling some of the things that I've learned in the past, and having them transfer to this experience has really, and pricing is in fact one of those things that's been really interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly, like I think we've discussed before, it's not something that most people are taught, even as part of a coaching or business curriculum. It's very rarely actually taught step by step how to do it. You might be told about, well, these are different strategies that are available to you, but for most people, that's not enough for them to understand how to go about it. So it is a journey.
And it is. And something you just made me think of, in this country, at least, conversations around salary are never discussed, and it's looked down upon. And I firmly believe that, once we are being honest and transparent about pricing, whether it's salaries, services, and products, whatever the case may be, there that raises a person's level of comfort in having those conversations. But if the talking about price is not the norm, it definitely makes it challenging for people.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. So, Carrie, we need to start wrapping this up. I've got a few more questions for you. I know it does. It always goes so fast.
Some more.
So, what's the one thing you'd like people to take away from our discussion today?
Yeah, I would say that pricing, just like your entrepreneurial journey, it's yours. Like the pricing is yours, the journey is yours, and to just know that it all evolves. And don't compare your pricing or your journey to the next person. It is really for you. It is really for you. And so just embrace the evolution.
Embrace the evolution. That sounds like a lovely thing to have a nice big quote for. Yeah, it really is an evolution. What's the next question? What is the best business advice you've been given?
It's something that I didn't want to hear. And it was to pick one area to start in. I had 3 loves, 3 passions that I wanted to follow through on when I first started. And it was a stumbling block for me. So for anyone who is truly just getting started, pick one thing to start with. You can circle back, but just pick one thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'll confess, and those of you who have been following me since the very, very beginning, you already know this, but when I first started my business, there were 3 components: pricing, mindfulness, and communication. And I had 3 different colors. So each topic had a different color. It was all on the same website. And, I was really trying to cover all my bases. And then at one point I was like, wow, this is way too much work.
It is in all aspects. It's too much work. It's just too much.
But what's excuse me, what's interesting is I dropped the other things, but it's all incorporated in there anyhow.
Right. And that's how mine is.
Yeah,
it's the other 2 are definitely incorporated, but just pick one.
Exactly. Pick one. We could have a whole nother conversation about how to pick one.
Yes, absolutely. Be wise, but just pick one.
All right. What's one business tip that you'd like to share with everyone?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, Janine, I really go back to staying focused on your own journey. I used to tell my students that, don't get caught up in comparing yourself to someone else. It's most important that you are making the best decisions for your business. And it's easy to try to do what other businesses are doing to be successful. And you can glean information from them, but it's most important that you make the best decisions that you're able to for your business.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. Stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
Very important. Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay.
What's your favorite book or tool that you'd like to share with us?
Okay. I hate all things technology. That people that are in my sphere know I talk about this. I don't like it. So it is nothing technical based. And but for me, honestly, in the journey of entrepreneurship, for me, the book has been the Bible. It really has been. I've worked really hard to lean on my faith during times of uncertainty, not knowing how to do things. And so it has really served me well in all aspects of my business.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Last question. Okay. If people would like to find out more about you, where can they go?
They can visit me on my website. It's learningandsolutions.com. And there's a wealth of of information and insight and resources available. So learning and solutions. And thank you for asking, Janine.
Yeah, no, that's great. I will put that and any other links we have for you. I'll put those in the show notes as well so that people can go click on that nice and easily. Thank you so much, Carrie, for being here with me today. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you and that you shared so many wonderful things with us.
It has been such a delight, Janine. Thank you for the invitation. And I'd love to chat with you again.
Well, we may have opportunities. I have some new things coming up next year, and I'm actually going to start doing a monthly panel discussion.
Ooh.
And I'm really excited about that. So we'll have to definitely get you in on that one too.
Yeah, I'd love to. Such a great conversation. Thank you so much for having me. And please know that I'm sending you happy holidays and your audience as well. Happy holidays. Please be safe and just have peace.
Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. As you know, on this show, we talk about pricing. And so if you're struggling with pricing in your business, feel free to go on over to thepricinglady.com and find out more about how we can work together and get your business on the road to sustainable profitability. That's all we have for you today, folks. Have a great day, a wonderful holiday, and until next time, enjoy pricing, everybody.